Well, I'm going to have to scrounge around. There had been another time when Mom was living with us. Your mother and Mom didn't get along very well, and that was more, I think, my mother's fault than once, because she smoked. We even had, if you ever go in the kitchen and look at that, there's a little exhaust fan.
Yeah,
that was right over the chair that Mom's sitting all the time to watch TV, which was in the corner.
Right.
And that took a while to get that done, but that relieved some of the pressure. But the antagonism, at least on one side, I never heard my mother's side of the story, but the antagonism just kept growing stronger and stronger. So I said, okay, well, look, what I'll do, I'll look around and find another apartment. And Mom and I will live in that apartment, and you and the kids can live here. And that didn't go over very well. So Emmett and Shirley, without any prompting, I don't think I even communicated to them my plan to get this other apartment. But Emmett and Shirley said, well, we think it's time that we took Mom. And we've got enough room for her. They had bought a condominium, what we would call a condominium. There it's called something else in Michigan. And they didn't have enough money to make the down payment. And so I loaned them enough money to make the down payment on that, and then Mom moved in with them.
And she stayed with them until she died, right?
She stayed with them until she died.
So this just popped into my head, and we can do it another time if you prefer, but I think some members of the family would probably love to hear you talk about the family's history with pets. And going back to New York, there's a dog that there was a dog before the poodle that I'd seen pictures of, but that I had no memory of. Maybe from.
I thought the poodle was the first dog we bought.
Oh, I thought there was a dog that maybe you had even before New York or something, but.
Well, I don't think so. I think that, because see, we didn't have a dog in Tennessee.
Okay.
And I think you guys were yelling about getting a dog, and I resisted for about 5 or 6 months because I couldn't figure out how the hell we were going to handle a dog because we didn't have any fences. And so we wound up buying that poodle. And the poodle just sort of became a member of the family. I mean, there's a picture somewhere of Tammy and the poodle having tea at that little table that we...
And the poodle's name was Toto.
Toto, yeah.
Presumably after the dog in the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
And was that Tammy that came up with that name, or do you remember?
I do not now remember.
Okay.
I know everybody agreed to it. First of all, we didn't know any other dog had that name. And it gave a kind of history to the dog that it didn't really have.
Right. And there was a cat, too, Mitzi, that we had at the same time as the...
Well, that was the second cat. We had another cat, the big black cat that we moved to California with. And you guys, I came home one day from the office, I don't know, it was like 10:30 at night, and you and Tammy were still up. And you were still up because you had found this little cat.
Right, that was Mini Squirt.
Mini Squirt.
That was we found the abandoned kitten at the church. But even before that, when we had Toto on Slater Boulevard, there was a cat. I think the name was Mitzi, that we had with the dog, and they used to sleep with each other.
Well, that was the same. Your recollection may be better than mine, but that was the black cat we moved to California with.
Well, that was Candy. Was the black
Candy.
cat. Yeah, but there was a cat. I think maybe it got sick. We didn't have it that long, but there were pictures of this sort of grayish cat that would sleep curled up with the big black poodle.
Well, she would sleep on the poodle. Poodle lay down.
Yeah.
And she would climb up on top of the poodle and sleep on it.
Right. So, was that? Did you have any particular attitude about the family having pets?
Well, I wasn't against it because growing up, we as a family had anywhere from 4 to 10 dogs.
Right.
Because we sort of lived at a place where people would come out of town. They'd bring their dog out of town, and they would do what we call dropping the dog. They'd drop the dog, and it seemed like an awful lot of them, the first place they found was our house. And then...
And were they hunting dogs or just family pet dogs?
They were all over the place. They were mongrels, and most of them were, in fact, not purebred dogs. They were, and they would. We never tried to restrain them, so they'd come, and as long as they were there, we'd feed them, and then they would disappear. They would decide they're going to go live somewhere else, I guess. And get out of here, damn it!
Chasing a bee.
Then we moved Candy with us to
Palo Alto.
Palo Alto, and
by that time we had a second dog, Chow Chow, which was half Chow and half Sheltie.
The poodle was adopted by somebody in New Jersey.
Because they had a couple kids or something, right?
Yeah. And
I wondered for a long time whether that was a euphemism, that the poodle had been adopted by someone with a farm in New Jersey or something.
As far as I know, that was accurate. I don't know how they found out. I think one put an ad somewhere that had the poodle, and then people would show up, and finally one of the families met Juan's requirements, and so they got the poodle. And then we got the.
And how did that? I have no recollection of how that went over with me and Tammy that we got rid of the dog.
I have no recollection either. But we got another dog. We got it a little pup.
Right, probably pretty quickly.
Oh, and it was the cutest thing you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
It was half English Shepherd and half Chow.
Right.
And
I have a recollection of going out to the, I guess wherever, I don't know if it was a breeder or who it was that had the litter of puppies, and the family going out and looking at those puppies and picking out Chow Chow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we moved to California,
we gave Chow Chow to my mother.
Because she needed a watchdog?
She needed a watchdog.
Yeah.
And that worked until my mom, the doctor said my mom had to live with other people or have a nurse 24 hours a day. And so that's when we moved Mom to California.
Brought the dog.
And brought the dog with it.
And how long was that after we moved to California? Do you remember?
I think it was within 5